On today's episode of the podcast, we take a look at the movie Hearts Beat Loud, directed by Brett Haley, written by Brett Haley and Marc Basch, starring Nick Offerman, Kiersey Clemons, Ted Danson, Toni Collette, Sasha Lane, and Blythe Danner. Welcome to He Said, She Said Movie Reviews. This is the podcast where a happily married couple with different opinions takes a quick look at the movies, helping you make the right decision before watching your next movie. I'm your host, Tim.
And I'm April.
Since starting this podcast, Hearts Beat Loud is the first movie we both stood up at the end and said, wow, that was a really good movie. We'll tell you all about that right after this trailer.
The trailer we saw is for Puzzle. It's about a suburban mom who's taken for granted. Her name is Agnes, and she discovers a passion for solving jigsaw puzzles, which draws her into a whole new world where her life unfolds in ways she could have never imagined. It's with David Denman, who played Roy in The Office, and Kelly MacDonald, who was in No Country for Old Men. This movie looks phenomenal. It's all about growth, which I absolutely love supporting, not just in a movie, but in every minute of everyday life. Also, I'm fascinated that there are puzzle competitions. My husband, Tim, has many hobbies, and
that's not one of them.
My mom and my sister love puzzles. But you know, what's interesting is lately we've noticed there's so many hobbies that we didn't know about. And I just think that's absolutely fascinating in life.
Yeah, this movie looks really good. I can't wait to see it.
I cannot wait. I will be there on opening night.
So the film we saw this week was Hearts Beat Loud. This is a movie about a father and daughter who form an unlikely songwriting duo in the summer before she leaves to go off to college. It was directed by Brett Haley, and it was written by Brett Haley and Marc Basch. It stars Nick Offerman, Kiersey Clemons, Ted Danson, Toni Collette, Sasha Lane, and Blythe Danner.
It was one of the best movies I've seen in years. I want to do a personal shout out to Brett Haley. As soon as this podcast is over, I'm going to give him a shout out on Twitter, but I'm also going to write him a personal letter. I loved this movie. You cannot get to this movie fast enough. He also wrote The Hero with Sam Elliott, I'll See You in My Dreams with Blythe Danner.
Two great movies.
Yeah, two really good ones. But also I want to say that this movie that he did, Hearts Beat Loud, won at the Sarasota Film Festival for Best Narrative Feature Film, and it also won the Wisconsin Film Festival as well.
Yeah, this movie was a really good movie. It was it was a very simple plot. It's just a father and daughter. She's getting ready to go off to college. He's kind of not wanting her to go off to college. He's still living the dream of being a musician and such. It's got a great theme. It's all about love and acceptance and friendship. And friendship too. It also has it's kind of a coming of age movie, but it's not a coming of age movie about the daughter. She's already pretty mature and grown up. It's more about a coming of age movie for the father who finally realizes he has to grow up and start living his life and letting his daughter live her life and follow her dreams. This movie hit a point for me because I'm basically in the same situation right now. My daughter's already gone off to college, but we're at the same crossroads in life where you have to start realizing it's your child's life and you have to let go and let them live their dreams.
Absolutely. And believe me, there was just, it was just so on point. I loved the friendships woven throughout the movie. I loved how everyone accepted each other, the good points and their other points, just like we do every day in everyday life. But I want to say too that the cast that was pulled together for this movie, I want to say was perfect. They're phenomenal actors. But beyond that, I love that the characters were normal. I love that the daughter and her partner was an age-appropriate romance. I loved that there were several opportunities within the movie to not be accepting, if you will, but they chose to be. And I think that's what love's all about, is unconditional love and acceptance.
Absolutely. I thought the acting was great. Great cast in this movie. Nick Offerman from Parks and Recreation, Ron Swanson, if you're a Parks and Recreation fan, you know exactly who he is. He also was played one of the McDonald's brothers in the Founder movie. Wow, who knew he could sing? A very talented musician, apparently, too. He did a phenomenal job in the role. Just the relationship between his character, Frank, and his daughter, Sam or Samantha, played by Kiersey Clemons. Wow, she is phenomenal, by the way, and boy, can she sing.
She can, and I want to talk about that. The score of this movie was incredible. She wrote the majority of the songs, and they can be downloaded too on Amazon for $11.99. The soundtrack, it was just delightful. There's no other word. I loved all of the music in this movie, and it left me wanting more.
Yeah, and the rest of the cast too. Ted Danson and Toni, Collette, and Blythe certainly rounded out the cast. I'm a huge Toni Collette fan ever since Muriel's Wedding. And for me, if you've never seen on Showtime The United States of Tara, you really have to see that, where Toni Collette plays a mother with split personality disorder, and several of her personalities are male characters. I love Toni, and she did a great job in this movie.
Yeah, I thought the entire cast did. I also am a big Toni Collette fan, but I thought Ted Danson was just, he was unique. I loved Kiersey's partner in this movie, Sasha Lane. She was Rose in American Honey. And I loved how you go into this movie and it starts and you're sitting there, right? It starts with a young girl in a college class. Okay. This is how it starts. And at first you're like, okay, then you get so pulled into these wonderful people's lives. It just, again, it's time well spent. And and especially right now, what's going on in our world, I think that we need feel-good movies more than ever. And I just am so grateful that this movie was made. And I'm going to do anything I can to help spread the word so that everyone gets a chance to see it.
Yeah, I have to admit, there were several points during this film that I had to wipe my eyes. I got tears in my eyes. It was a beautiful, well-written movie. It had phenomenal dialogue in it. There were 4 different quotes during this movie, which I'm going to have to go back and see because I can only remember one of the quotes. There was a line where he said, I believe it was the father said, that you have to be brave before you can be good. I love that line.
Yeah, I thought that was great. Also, this movie is about dreams. It's all about it. I think that I always say the world always makes way for the dreamer, but I also say that when you're pursuing a dream, at some point you're going to have to give up some other dreams. That's part of growing up, and it's part of the goal setting process of how you get to where you want to get to. And I just love that. I love how they went about it. I love everything, even the end of the movie. I loved.
Yeah, I love the way they ended this, but we're not going to tell you how they ended it because that would be a spoiler, and we don't do that here.
Tim, something else I really, really enjoyed about this movie is whoever designed the sets, it was just a few places this beautiful movie was filmed versus movies that are, they spend millions and millions and millions of dollars. That's what made it also really special, I think.
Yeah, there's only about 3 different locations or set pieces for this movie, which made it very simple and easy.
Mm-hmm. And there's something about how, with just those few sets that they designed, there was something intimate about it that kept me intrigued with the script.
I'll tell you one thing I really enjoyed about that was that, and it brought back a lot of memories, was the record store. Going into a record store with seeing all the vinyl and such, that brought back memories from my childhood.
Oh, and me too. Do you remember when we were in college? We went to Sacramento State University in California, and they had a music room, and you just gave them your ID and you got 30 minutes at a time. You get to go into these little rooms with pillows and get to pick the music. And it was just relaxing, and it was so fun.
Oh, another thing I got to geek out in this movie too was when I saw, and from the podcast, I was able to identify the microphones that they were using when they were singing. It cracked me up.
Absolutely. But anyway, I hope you go and see it. It was just delightful. And I want to thank Brett Haley again for an amazing movie. Hearts Beat Loud. Go see it.
So, April, what would you give this as a score?
I would give this a 4.5 without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, when I thought about how I would rate this movie, I really, really wanted to give it a 5. And I'm going to give it a 4.5. And I sat here and I tried to think, why can't I give it a 5? My only complaint about it is it starts a little slow. The pace was a little bit slow, but I'll tell you, the movie sucked me in. So by the end, I was transfixed with it. I really enjoyed this.
Yep.
So 4.5 for me too.
Fantastic. Also, we need to do a shout out where we saw the movie. Let me just tell you too where we saw this movie. It's a really neat story. It used to be the L'Enfant, and it's now
It's called the Springs Cinema and Tavern.
Okay, and it is incredible. The seats, everything they've done with the renovation. I'm excited. They've done Tim, about half of it.
Yeah, this is a really nice indie movie theater. So
and just where they're going with this is so exciting. So we're really looking forward to seeing many, many, many movies there.
Plus, I was able to enjoy a Hopsecutioner beer during the movie. So
can't beat that. You also can't beat walking down a movie aisle with seats, plenty of room ahead of you.
And
so you're not stepping on people's feet.
And these are heated leather seats. So
I love it. Love the new vibe there, and a shout out to them. And if you're in the Atlanta area, please go to this theater.
And remember, let us help you make the right movie decision. Go out to HeSaidSheSaidMovies.com/subscribe and subscribe to the podcast. That way you never miss one of our movie reviews.
Thanks again for all your support, and we'll see you at the movies.
See you at the movies.